The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back into it. We're back up to it. It's The Local Show with Tom and Steve usually, but Steve is on his 730th vacation, and Rick Gary has decided to stop by and help us out. So, what is minimum wage now? Are we at $2.35?
No, for you guys, it's zero.
Right. Good golly. I'm wondering if we can't get you to just, sit in the chair all the time.
Well,
and
you
give
could.
you some money.
There's always a price.
There's a price. Yeah. I don't know if we could afford you, but it's certainly good to hang out with you. I know you were a motorcycle guy there for a while.
Yeah.
Do you still ride?
No. Are you kidding me?
Are you saying you're too old to ride?
Yeah. I went through, 30 some years or whatever, never had an accident, never went down. Yeah. And I thought, it's time to stop. I was about 5 or 6 years ago. Okay. I'm glad I did, because people, it's not so much the rider as it is the people that drive, paying no attention.
I know, it's tough.
No attention. They're doing this.
And you rode a real motorcycle. You didn't have a three-wheeler.
No.
you weren't one of those three-wheeler guys.
I was very, two wheels.
Two wheels.
Big
wow.
Harley. Had Harleys, Kawasaki's,
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, though.
Do you miss it?
Every once in a while, you get weather like this. And I just went by the Harley Davidson dealer and going, look at it. My wife would kill me.
You could get the trike. I mean, the trike, then you don't have to worry as
there's
much.
just something, and I understand, why people do that, but I'm just not a trike guy. Yeah, I gave those up at the age of 5.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, we're going to talk with Todd Cruikshank. He's the owner of the Pond and Rock Shop. Good to have you back. How are you?
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. So, kind of your season now. Why don't you tell people what you do and how it relates to spring?
Okay. Well, we're getting into the season, right? We've had some terrible weather this winter. Everyone's ready for some spring. Today it looks like we've got some nice weather. Hopefully that continues. At the Pond and Rock Shop, we're a retail store. We sell pond and landscape supplies, serving the community for 36 years this year.
Really?
Yeah.
That long?
Yeah. I've only owned the business for about 4 or 5 years now, but
we've been around.
36 years this year. So in continuous business. And different locations, but we've been business in Cicero for quite a long time now. So it's a little tricky to get to sometimes. We're off of Route 11. It's pretty busy over there, but we're tucked in there. But once you're in there, we've got a nice place.
You're right by where Copper Top is over there. The Brick and Brew is over there, right?
Just turn right in there, and we're down there on the right-hand side. The last building on the
I remember I had a paper route, a Post Standard that my father said would build character. I don't know what kind of character.
There's newsprint on your forehead. Yes. That's what it built. Yeah.
Oh, good golly. It was a Post Standard. And one of the houses I delivered had a big koi pond, and I was always enamored with the amount of koi fish they had in there and how pretty it was. And it had a little waterfalls. And this goes back into the late 70s.
Sure. Yeah, I think that was before it was really popular in this area. But we do sell koi and goldfish seasonally, getting into that season as well. And next couple of weeks, we'll have a bunch of koi come in, different sizes, different price ranges. So we not only do we sell them, we also maintain ponds too. So if you wanted a pond or had a pond that you needed service on, we can help you out with that. We have technicians that's out there 9 months out of the year, terrible weather all year round.
Right.
Open, close, and service ponds, and you make small repairs and things like that. And so we can also help keep them clean and show you how you should maintain them.
Do you actually dig ponds yourself?
We do some small work. We don't get any large work. We do work with some contractors in the area, landscape companies that kind of specialize in ponds, but we don't do larger projects. We'll get into some small stuff, rebuild waterfalls, install some fountains and stuff for people, some landscape lighting here and there. We sell a lot of landscape lighting. And then, it's more of you can come to a local shop, and we're the local experts to help you.
So you can recommend, and you have the products, but you're not out there making the ponds.
No, not necessarily. Yeah.
Tell me about the koi fish though. During the wintertime, do they survive in the water?
They do. Yeah, we actually have. If you come down to our store, we have some gardens on the side of our store, and we do have koi and goldfish in a couple ponds, and. What they require in the winter is like some aeration, which is going to be the most critical, and then maybe a small de-icer keeps a hole in the ice along with that aerator.
Okay. Yeah,
and they're fine. They're going dormant. They're not eating or anything like that. They're just hanging out.
Now do you have products that take ponds that look muddy and crummy, and then all of a sudden it's nice and blue like the ocean?
Well, if you wanted blue, we do have dye for ponds. It's for farm ponds or even small ponds. Yeah, it's non-toxic, and you can have fish in there. You won't see them as well, but it does help clear up the pond some.
Do they have the ponds have what is it, alga blooms? Do they get that?
Yeah, they do get algae. They get like string algae. They get green water, and then we have products that will help to negate that by UV lights will help take care of the green water, and we do sell our own line of natural bacterias as well. So
why don't they use that in lakes that have that alga bloom?
Probably too big of an area to try and
to do that.
Yeah, but we have some customers that do some large maintenance projects, and they'll buy a lot of dye from us on those. Or if you had a farm pond or something you wanted to kind of clean up, you could do that.
When did the popularity to ponds start? What?
Probably 90s.
Yeah,
I would say the 90s.
And what was the attraction about it?
It's probably something different, and taking from having these like formal gardens of the 70s and 60s that people used to have in their backyards to having something a little bit different.
What's the biggest pond that you've done?
Oh gosh,
service?
that we service. I don't know how many gallons, but we do have a couple customers. One, as a backyard pond, I would say like a man-made. We have a customer in Chittenango that he's got 3 ponds that he just dug another one this past year. And waterfalls and
do you have to have a natural source for water to have a pond?
No, you actually want the opposite if you're going to do a lined pond, because these are all lined with a rubber liner.
Yeah,
but people might dig their own pond if they had a wet area in their landscape.
So
somewhere.
it recirculates the water.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just kind of going.
Yeah.
And we're talking about koi fish. Maybe some people don't know what a koi fish is. Why don't you tell people what that is?
They are really nothing more than a pretty carp. People would probably kill me for saying that, but there's different grades of them, and there's the Japanese koi, which are absolutely amazing.
Right.
We don't really get into a lot of those. It's really a specialty thing. Maybe a price conscious thing for someone else where it's going to be out of their budget. But we do sell koi that come domestically from North Carolina and Florida, and they're just really pretty to look at from the top.
How long do they live?
We have some in our ponds that are 20 years old.
How big do they get?
I would say you could be easily 24 inches or
good.
more.
That's a good size
or
fish.
more.
Yeah.
We have customers that have fish that are bigger and older than that.
Now, I'm assuming some people have a pond to have maybe put trout.
Yeah, other fish.
You can have other fish,
yeah.
and I think you have to be careful because the koi are a little bit more docile. If you're going to have like bass or something, they're more of aggressive fish. May not mix well unless the koi are introduced early on and they get pretty big. And
so in your ponds, people don't usually build them to bathe themselves, right?
We do. We have had customers build swim ponds. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So a little bit different, but filtration systems are different and things like that. But yeah, you can keep them clean enough to where you could have a swim pond. Yep.
Geez, you could do one of those on your property.
Yeah, actually, I have a wet area that I would like to stop mowing.
Yeah.
It probably there's a spring or something there somewhere.
Exactly.
Do you know by chance what do you think the average cost is of a pond?
I mean, that's a tough decision, tough question.
So you did a 30 by 30 or something like that.
That's a big one,
right?
Yeah, I would say most people are doing an 8 by 10.
Okay,
I think you're doing an 8 by 10.
Mine's probably about 2 by 4. Right. So what would that run? Do you think?
I think if you're going to do a liner and some filtration and do it right, an 8 by 10, some boulders. I'm going to say you're probably a couple $1,000 doing it yourself.
I see. Well, look, get over there and get a quote and look at all the different products. Todd Cruikshank right there. He's the owner of the Pond and Rock Shop. If they ask for you, you'll talk to them,
I'll be
right?
there, of course.
Excellent. All right. Or call them, 452-1908, 452-1908, pondandrockshop.com. Thank you. You have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Good to see you.